Hey guys, fashionably late again. Dennis, we got Alex over here, and Dan is feeling a little under the weather and will not be joining us live tonight. So hopefully he gets to feeling better soon. And hopefully all of you guys are doing well.
Yeah. Hope everybody's had a great weekend.
It's been I don't want to say a long weekend, but a full weekend. Doing a bunch of work
Absolutely.
around the house and
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool out here today.
yeah, it's felt good out today.
It's only like 75, 76 degrees. It's better than the 95, 98, 100 that it's been, off and on throughout the week. So, yeah, it's definitely been nice for getting outside and getting some stuff taken care of.
And I guess this coming week, 4th of July, I guess that's supposed to be in the mid 90s.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully it doesn't get too super hot, which I guess if you got a pool, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
So
we got the kids' pool, and I am not too ashamed to go out and climb in it.
yeah. Well, so Dan's not feeling too good. He's not sure if he's got a little stomach bug or what's going on with him. So he's probably not on anywhere tonight at all. I don't know if he's been on anywhere today at all. So but hopefully he gets feeling better soon.
And something I wanted to bring up real quick. Here not long ago, I done a video and asked everybody a question. We don't really come on here and break down a lot of theories on here in our videos and live feeds, just because the few times we've tried that, it's led to drama that we try to avoid. But we did ask everybody for their feedback on if they want to see us do more of the theory breakdowns or if we should keep the way that we are. And multiple people responded, and it was basically split 50-50. Half would like to see more of the theory stuff, half would like to see it how it is without the drama. So right now, I don't think we should move forward with any changes on that and just see how it goes. There will be times that we do discuss a case that's could potentially have multiple theories and just kind of walk through the possibilities with you guys, get you guys' opinion. But right now, we won't be focusing on just bringing theories out and breaking those down. And, I do think it'll save a lot of drama just based off of past experiences with that.
Well, I know what our number one drama case is. I'm sure you probably agree with me too, but Randy Leach's case, we've had some pretty heated discussions, and sometimes things get brought up that people don't want to talk about. Sometimes people take things the wrong way, and there's, we are all entitled to our own thoughts and opinions. So sometimes people don't like what we have to say, and that's part of this. We have to look at everything through the cases. We look at every conceivable piece of factual evidence to accusations, rumors. We try to go through every bit of it to, rationally come up with what we think is the true facts and what's just hogwash, but sometimes, we have guests on the show that they'll make comments, they'll say things, and, we try to keep the drama to a minimum, because if there's drama and fighting and arguing, then where are we getting? What are we actually accomplishing besides a discussion of working together and talking through things, but not, by any means, we never try to hurt anybody's feelings. And to say, we don't like our feelings bashed and hurt. And it does happen. I mean, Dennis, I know you can agree to this, that
Oh yeah.
we deal with some pretty hateful emails, private messages, text messages, phone calls. So, but by all means, we try to talk through things. I like it when the audience participates and we can talk. It's like one-on-one, but it's us with you all. So, but I think as of right now, I think we're just kind of going to keep it the way it is. If discussions get more in depth, then we get more in depth. But yeah, we always want everybody to treat everybody respectfully. Because you should treat somebody how you want to be treated. And it's okay to disagree. It is. 100%. It's your right to disagree, but do it respectfully. So
if you disagree respectfully, that leads to discussion. Discussion leads to answers and working things out, and it's a positive all the way around.
Yeah.
Because Alex and I, we talk a lot on these cases. I mean, up late at night, messaging through the day. We don't always agree with each other, but we're able to talk about it, work through it. Sometimes it turns out Alex is right. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes we're both wrong. And it's a piece of what both of us are saying coming together that fits and paints a picture. So the discussions are really important.
Yeah. Because a lot of stuff that we come, like, and we're not singling out Randy's case, but Randy's case is one of those cases where, I have a connection to it because of school. Dennis's connection is, when he started Muddy Waters, and this is, do you think Randy's case is what started Muddy Waters? I mean,
it is what led us to form, because I had no plans of any of this until Randy Leach's case come up, and I just couldn't walk away from that one. So that is the biggest reason why.
So with working on Randy's case, I mean, I think you showed last week the file size that you have on Randy's stuff. Out of that file, probably half of it is duplicates of reports, information that was wrote down, but that half is literally every page is probably some type of different story, rumor, citing, accusation, hearsay, factual evidence. I mean, so it's a lot. It's a lot to work through it, and you'll get some bit of information. We had a piece of information that came in a month and a half ago that was just crazy, unbelievable, that came in, and it was fascinating. It truly was, because it possibly could lead to another, I would say it's definitely in our top 5 of what we think happened to Randy. And this is based off of some type of evidence, whether it was factual, it is a firsthand person's experience, something like that. So, it's a lot, because, I mean, we all know there's only one truthful story to the event that, led to why no one has seen Randy to this day. So, talking through it, working through it together, sometimes we don't agree. sometimes we all agree. It's just part of it.
And we're all human. We all have our own way of thinking, our own mindset. None of us is going to agree on everything. And none of us is going to be right 100% of the time. So being able to share your thoughts, like again with Alex, I can share my thoughts with Alex on any of our cases, and he might say, well, he's never told me, I don't think that happened. It's been, well, what got you there? Or, well, it's hard to see it being this because of this other situation. And that leads to a full discussion on it and see where it all leads. And it's the same with all of you guys. When we come on here and we do an open discussion where we are focused on a single case, you guys have been the same way. 99.9% of you have been that same way. I don't think that could be it because of this. And that takes the discussion that direction to see if it's possible or not.
Yeah.
And we all want to know exactly what happened. But to get there, we're going to have to weed out the stuff that has been said is possible. We need to prove it's not possible to help narrow it down. And during that route, there will come a time that one of these possibilities leads to Randy.
Yeah.
I actually think that it is a mix of about 6 different theories that all make one big story. And me personally, I think leads to the most logical to me location of Randy. If I had to say where I thought he would be, it would be one of 2 different locations. And I think Alex knows those locations. Yeah. But it's the same with Summer Wells, for example. Started out, she went missing, strange circumstances from the beginning. But when you look at it today, there's like 50 different things floating around with people saying, well, this is what happened to Summer Wells. And, you know, like Randy, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to just one thing that led to her disappearance.
Yeah.
Hopefully both of these are found soon, but the being able to openly discuss a case amongst ourselves without the drama, I believe, is what would lead to getting answers. Teamwork works.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, so one of the comments is Joanne wrote, some of the earlier cases where you done reenactments were good too. So I was never a part of your reenactments. That was before Tammy and I came along. You know, and one of the reenactment things that I wanted to do was, of course, with Randy's case. I had this vision that we're going to try to find a Dodge 600 4-door sedan car of the same year, same lineage, to reenact all these possible situations that have been brought up. And the reason I wanted to do it was because it's not so much as to checking the work of the police, but it's basically looking at what did the police look for, what could they have seen, and what could they have missed. And, you know, when we've talked about things, I personally do not believe that Randy is in a creek or the river. I don't believe it. You know, the NOAA weather reports show all-time lows of that time of the year in 1988 in April. The facts state that the water was so low that I just don't believe he would have drove off and went into a creek or a river, because somebody would have seen it. The car wouldn't have gone nowhere. Within the general realm of the area where Randy went missing, Tom Kaufman, which was Keith Kaufman's father, and Keith, they were up in a airplane that next day, flying around and looking for Randy's car. One of the conversations I had with Keith was, well, how far did you guys fly out and away from the party area? And Keith told me, he's like, I honestly don't remember. All I did was my dad told me to have my head looking out the window and look for the car in the water, off any roads. And that's what they did. So, I have other theories what I think happened, but one of the things in doing this reenactment with the car was basically to run the car, and this is April, and I'm talking about doing it in April, the same time of the year, so we can recreate it as closest as possible to what happened. And basically look at the statistics, look at the facts, look at all this stuff and say, well, that looks like it could have happened. I mean, look, you can see where you guys drove the car off a gravel road, through a ditch, and through, a grassy field. You can see how the grass was laid over from the tire prints. If the car would have went off, into a pond, one of the things is we want to drain all the fluids out of the car and pull the car, with a cable into a pond and document what it looks like. Document anything and everything from the grass being laid over, the tire tracks going into the ground, and the car underwater, and what it would have looked like from the air from certain heights with the drone. Could the roof of the car have been seen in water? We all know one of the rumors is that the car was buried. That's something we want to do, is in the middle of the night, dig a hole and bury the car. How long does it take to do this? What kind of noise is being made in the middle of a night somewhere when someone's digging a hole with a piece of equipment? Now, can we reenact the exact piece of equipment? Hypothetically, it could have been used. Well, I don't have a backhoe. I do have an excavator. I have, skid steers. We can try to recreate this the best that we can. So, doing all these types of different, events of what could have happened, what has been recorded, documented in police reports, eyewitness accounts, supposedly, well, I heard this happened, or I heard this happened. This is why I really still want to do this. And, it's not trying to prove, well, hey, the cops didn't do their jobs, or, hey, everybody lied. It's just we want to present this to the audience and say, hey, this is what we did. We tried to recreate some of this. This is what we came up with, And of course, the one ultimate thing is that the car was taken to the crusher in the middle of the night. So, of course, we're going to take the car to the crusher in the end. So it's just, and I'm sure that when we do this, there'll probably be some drama and some heated discussions that, well, there actually already was some heated discussions that came up last year about this. But, it's part of us doing stuff, trying to learn from it, and also showing you, the audience, hey, this is what we came up with.
See, with Randy, we also got to look at it. He's been missing 30 plus years, and there has been people looking for him pretty much all of that time. So the traditional stuff isn't working on finding him. The locations that have already been searched over the years turned up empty. So with Randy, it's thinking outside of the book, but not going crazy with it, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was, if it was easy, he would have done been found.
Yeah.
I think if he was in a creek or the river, something along that, I think he would have been found by now. Those have been searched multiple times.
Yeah. Now, this is not to say that outside of the I don't know what you want to call it, the basically the party area to where he would have lived. I'm not saying outside of that something didn't happen. He drove off and he was going on a road trip to clear his head, and something could have happened, and he's in a pond somewhere outside of a certain distance. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying within the general location of the party, Linwood and all that, I think they did a decent job of. I mean, the paperwork shows they were trying, but we also have to remember Leavenworth County. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I would have to look this up, but was Randy the first missing person recorded in Leavenworth County?
See, when we looked at that, I haven't seen one that dates back before him that's been recorded.
So basically, what is their history with missing people? I mean, we're not talking like Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Wichita, I mean, when you go back and you look at the stuff, Kansas City metro area has had tons of people go missing all the way back to, oh geez, it depends if you look at Missouri or Kansas side of the Kansas City metro area. But stuff's been going on since the late 60s, early 70s. So, but Leavenworth County, I believe Randy was the first case of someone that went missing. So Leavenworth County, what kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank here. What's the oh geez.
Basically, what experience did they have with this person?
What kind of experience did Leavenworth County have when it come to looking for a missing person? Once again, I'm sure they have some type of training when you become a cop and you go through all the different scenarios of being a cop. They probably go through some of this, but I don't think they were dealing with it like the Kansas City metro area was dealing with it at that time. So in doing this reenactment experiment, I hope it will bring some answers, to a lot of people's questions. And when we show all this, they'll be like, yeah, man, I don't believe that. Or, hey, that makes a lot of sense. I did the experiment, with Dennis, where, up from where Tammy and I live, there's a barn with woods, and they had a semi truck, and it's sitting on the side of the barn, and it's white, and literally the same time of the year when Randy went missing that week, I started taking pictures every week, and we documented how long it took from the road before you couldn't see the semi truck. And it was probably 250, 300 feet off the road. I think it took a solid 5 weeks for the brush, the vegetation to grow, the leaves on the trees before you finally couldn't see it. So I would say that a car that was gray in color would have disappeared even quicker, smaller, a darker color. So, it was a learning experience, and that was kind of our first little test that I did along with Dennis, when it come to Randy's case of, well, hey, I want to see what we can figure out by doing this. So
See, it was amazing watching that disappear like that, the way that did.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I've seen, you know, we've seen other missing people groups do their searches, their experiments. You know, Dennis, all the stuff that he's done. But you know, this is one of the things that, you know, I think will truly help us looking at all the information and then you know, discussing it. And so I've been in a few situations with drama with other people involved. I have I can say it out loud, I have gotten myself banned from a couple of the Randy Leach pages for just being truthful and honest and upfront about stuff. And people didn't like what I had to say, so I can accept it.
You troublemaker, Alex.
I'm sorry.
We're going to call you the troublemaker of Muddy Waters.
Somebody's got to do it. But I wasn't being disrespectful. I was just being realistic to stuff that was being discussed and talked about, and, you know, looking at it from a realistic point of view. And, you know, that's all I was doing.
See, and I'll back him up on that. It surprised me that he was removed from one of them because he didn't just share his opinion. He actually took the time to screenshot evidence and share on there showing how something isn't possible. And yet you ended up banned for it. I mean, my opinion, if somebody's going to kick you out and ban you for sharing the truth with them and questioning things, trying to find the right answers in a respectful way, because I feel you were very respectful with it, then why are they even running a page trying to find a missing person to begin with? You know, if they have all the answers, they should have done found him. Just plain and simple.
Yeah. And I was called out by the other search team. I was called out by their leader that I didn't know what I was talking about, and I basically was just stating facts, you know, and they evidently didn't like what I had to say about it. So,
and that cracked me up because it wasn't called out to you, it was called out to a third party and got around. So
yeah,
that just jumps right into all of the drama that we tried to avoid. It would have been easy for you to have called this person and had it out with them, but you know, Alex didn't do it. He chose the higher route with it and try to push the drama aside and move forward.
Yep. But I think that the missing people genre, the cases, I think it's just a magnet for drama, you know, and I guess in a way it's like, how do you draw the line between drama and discussions? You know, how do you draw a line between drama, arguing, fighting, this, and just discussions? You know, how do you keep it under control? And it's very hard. I mean, I think one time we had a Summer Wells situation, and there was some arguing going on, and I honestly can't remember. Was it Summer Wells's dad? Who came on?
I think it was.
Well, at least it had that person's name.
Yeah.
Came on and was arguing with somebody else in a discussion or something we were all having. So You know, it's just, who knows, all we can do is try to do the best and work through it.
Yeah. And with her dad, there was no way to confirm that that's him just because the name was over here. But that was a strange night.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a few of them nights. We've had some craziness, that's for sure. So, well, since Dan's with us, we can't do the weekly update on, all the Amber Alerts and stuff. So,
and speaking of Amber Alerts, I done a video last night. It was just after midnight.
Yes.
And Isabella, I don't remember the last name. It might have been Long. 6-year-old girl that went missing out of Southeast Kansas. Woke up this morning to the reports that she was located safe, and very, very thankful to hear that. Missing person cases, they're stressful enough how it is, but when it's a 6-year-old child that's missing, it brings it to a different level. It's a defenseless child, and very thankful that she's back home, and very thankful to everybody that had a hand in getting her back home. And that includes Kansas Missing and Unsolved. They got her poster out really quick and just done an amazing job with that. And very thankful that there are people out there doing everything they can to bring these people home.
Yeah. Well, hello there. We haven't seen this person's name before, so welcome to the show.
So earlier today, you brought up a point, and just a bit ago, you mentioned Wichita, Kansas.
Yes.
So why don't you jump into that?
What is going on in Wichita, Kansas right now? So, Kansas Missing and Unsolved. I went through there this morning, and I screenshotted a bunch of the flyers that they had posted, and I posted them on my personal Facebook page for everyone to share. And the majority of them are all from Wichita, and I've done enough research that there's a lot of people that go missing. So I thought, well, heck, I'm going to hop on real quick before dinner, and I wanted to pull up on Missouri State Highway Patrol, and on the KBI, I was just curious how many people went missing in June. And according to the KBI in Kansas, in June, 118 people went missing. And the overriding majority of them are missing out of Wichita. What in the world is going on in Wichita? I mean, is it... And there's a lot of young kids, so is KBI, are we talking kids in foster situations that just leave the house, so they automatically mark them as missing? I don't know the exact details of it, but so then I went to the Missouri State Highway Patrol's website, and by golly, it's not wanting to work right. So you can go to the website, but if you click on any link to do anything, it just sits there and circles and circles and circles, and then you'll get the 504 warning or 504, 304 error, page error. So I really wanted, to pull up Missouri's June's, dates and see how many went missing in Missouri, and then see what where most everybody's missing from. It's usually down in the St. Louis area, St. Louis, St. Charles, type areas where the overriding majority seems to go missing in Missouri. But I'm just curious, what in the world is going on down in Wichita, Kansas? And maybe one of these days, we can get I forgot his name from Kansas Missing and Unsolved.
Ricky.
Let's get Ricky on here with us, and let's pick Ricky's brain and see what he says. What's going on down there? Is it foster kids? Is it sex trafficking? What is going on? Is it, I hate to say it, but is it drug related situations with missing people? Because something, it's out of control. It's clearly out of control right now. And I don't know if, granted, we don't monitor, I monitor Kansas and Missouri because this is basically where we're at. I'm right on the, basically the state line areas, where, I live, and I grew up in Kansas, and then I, bought a house in Missouri, and I watch both sides of the fence. But this is just crazy.
Maybe we can get Ricky and Derek both to come on with us and discuss that. I know Ricky has come on live with us before in the past, and we've discussed him coming in live several times after that. And I believe he's definitely down to do that. And in fact, this discussion, we looked at this about a year ago, and the numbers were the same way, just extremely high out of Wichita, and discussed it with Derek on bringing him on another live and discussing the reasons with that. And he was open to it. We're in, I won't say daily contact with Kansas Missing and Unsolved, but we are in contact 2, 3, 4 times a week, and just really great guys. They just want to do everything they can to help the families. So yeah. I don't think it'd be a problem getting at least Ricky and hopefully both of them to come on with us.
Yeah. Well, that would be awesome, because I'd really like to, hear what he has to say, his input, his thoughts on this, because something's out of control, we got to go back and remember there was times where, we went 10, 15 years in Kansas and not even 100 people went missing. Not even 8 to 10, 12 people a year were going missing. Now we're doing this in 1 month. In 2024, we're doing this in 1 month. What is it? What has changed in society so much? Because kids are kids. I truly believe, and this is my opinion, that teenage kids when I were a teenager are way different than teenager kids of today, 2024. I don't know. I'm totally mind blown that where in society are we failing that we're having this issue? What is happening? Who's not doing their job? Is it, and this is, once again, this is my opinion, and I'm a firm believer that your parents need to be your parents and not your best friends, and I'm just totally flabbergasted of what's going on today in today's society. Is it social media? Is social media too much? I don't know.
See, there's got to be a root cause of it. And it's just finding what that root cause is and how to combat that.
Yeah.
I seen Mac Randall Jr. commented a few minutes ago that 2 missing firefighters from Georgia were found deceased in Tennessee. I hadn't heard that they had been found, but our thoughts and prayers definitely go to their families, to their fellow firefighters, first responders. Always hate to hear, firefighters going down.
Yeah. Yeah, Tammy, somebody had just sent Tammy that information right before we came up and went on. So I think they were in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, which Tammy is from Knoxville. That's where she grew up. She grew up right by the Smoky Mountains. So she still has lots of, family and friends down there that, keep her updated, on all kinds of stuff. So Tammy's, and I know we've brought this up before, but Tammy's sister actually lives about 15, 20 minutes away from where Summer Wells went missing from. So, but yeah, sad, another terrible ending, to a situation.
And speaking of Summer Wells, next weekend we're probably not going to have a live feed just following up July 4th like that. But the following Sunday, we'll be doing a live feed. And the focus on that one is going to focus on Summer Wells. Do another open discussion. We'll share any updates that we find throughout from now till then. And then we'll have just a full blown open discussion on the Summer Wells case again. Now, that particular Sunday, that's the week that I do go in for surgery. I go in that Wednesday. So there's maybe a couple weeks that I won't be doing much outside of what I can do on a computer.
Yeah.
But I should be good to go live that following Sunday as well. Hopefully back to work by then is what I'm hoping, but time will tell.
Yeah.
But Summer Wells that case baffles me.
Yeah. I know Tammy's done a lot of, watching videos, lots of discussions with people from, back in Tennessee. And it's just, it's a sad situation, and I hate to say this, but Tennessee just seems like such a dark and bad place for, drugs, for missing people, for, sex trafficking, all of this. And, I never been to the Smoky Mountains till I met Tammy. And I've been 3 times now in the last 10 or 11 years, 12 years, 11, 12 years. I've been 3 times at least. And it's a, Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. It's such a cool place. But I tell you what, there are so many people when it's the right time of the year and, all the visitors, the tourists. I mean, I could see how kids can get snatched and people can become lost. And, I don't know, the whole, what the ratio is, but, one of the most famous cases from the Smoky Mountains is Dennis Martin. And he's the little boy that was with his family and they had stopped, at a certain area. I think they were going to have a picnic and then they decided to play hide and go seek or something. And the little boy just vanished. He just literally vanished, you know. And if you've watched anything about it, you've heard the stories of mountain men, you've heard stories of supposedly Bigfoot, you know, all of this stuff. But Tammy's stepfather that passed away last year, actually it'll be a year here in July that he passed away. He was on the search team for Dennis Martin. And he also lived across the street from where Dennis Martin went to the babysitter. And I know I've brought this story up before, but, you know, I had showed him videos on YouTube of Dennis Martin, and he would talk about this and talk about that. And, you know, I believed everything till he told me one story, and I kind of was like, I don't know about this, you know. He told me this, and I'm like, man, but he told me, and he was like, oh yeah, his babysitter was right across and he was a senior, or maybe he was out of school for 1 year. Maybe it was the year after he was a senior and he graduated. That's when he was, you know, part of the search team. But he said, oh yeah, that little boy, his babysitter was right across the street from us. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. He goes, he had a whistle, you know, because he evidently had some autistic issues or something. Well, he would blow this whistle when he felt scared or felt, you know, anxiety or something. And I guess that's what his parents had given him. So all the stuff I had ever watched on Dennis Martin, I had never heard anything about a whistle. Never. So I kind of was just like, I don't know if he knows what he's talking about or not. I mean, I believe, because he told us so many things about the search, and it, you know, it made sense according to all the videos. But when he told me about that, all of a sudden I saw some new video that had come out, and it had only been out for a couple weeks. And this is before he passed away. And in this video, this guy was talking about, he did an interview with Dennis Martin's dad, and they brought up the whistle, that he wore a whistle. And I'll never forget telling Tammy, I'm like, holy crap, Papaw was not, you know, he was being serious about Dennis Martin's babysitter was across the street from the house that he grew up in, and that he really had a whistle around his neck, you know, his neck. So that's really, I think personally, that's one of the most famous, you know, I'm not to mean to use the word famous, but it's the most well-known story of someone going missing in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, I think, you know, to this date. And, you know, in my opinion and stuff, but yeah.
We're going to have to do a live feed sometime and just have the open discussion on that case, because that is such an interesting case.
It really is. And, you know, to this day, nothing has ever been found. No article of clothing, you know, nothing. And I know there's another case that's in that area that happened quite a few years later, but it was, and Tammy knows where this is at. And if anybody's, you know, if you are familiar with the Smoky Mountains, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, there is a lookout area that you can go to. And I guess it's kind of on the east side of the mountains and that whole area, but it's like a really, and if Tammy was up here, I could ask her and she'd know it, because I think she's been there. But it's some area where it's another destination spot to go, because you go out on this ledge or something, you can see all the way to the Carolinas, you know, and it's something. But there was a senior trip, and some girl, literally these senior kids were walking in a straight line, and they turned around and this girl was gone. And she was a senior, I believe. And she just straight up disappeared into thin air, and nothing, you know, no clothes, no purse, nothing has ever been found of this girl, you know. And they searched high and low, you know, just right where she was at, and, you know, nothing, you know. And a lot of these people, they always talk about, wild people that live in the woods, and, is it Bigfoot? It's so crazy, to hear some of these stories, Oh, Mac Randall says, Lookout Mountain. You can see several states. That's probably the name of it then. It seems like it was Lookout something. Lookout Mountain, Lookout Ledge, Lookout Cliff or something. But yeah, that girl
sounds interesting. I want to go there.
Well, the last time we were there in the mountains, I desperately was trying to get us to go. And it's hard when you have your whole family with you, everybody, let's go here, let's go do this, let's go here, let's go do this, and I really wanted me and Tammy to get away to go to the area where Dennis Martin, had went missing. I wanted to go see that area, for myself. But we couldn't do it. We weren't able to do it that time. So I'm sure we'll be back, maybe sometime this summer, this fall, if not next year, because we tend to go every other year, because Tammy's biological dad, he moved to North Carolina. So we still go see Tammy's sister where she lives, and then we usually meet up with her dad. We spend time in the mountains, and then we usually, go to Myrtle Beach, make the drive, go hang out at Myrtle Beach for, quite a few days. So
that would be cool. Dennis Martin's case has interested me since, and I think you're the one who first told me about that case. I don't think I'd heard about this until you brought it up shortly after we all started talking. But this one has just fascinated me from the beginning.
Yeah.
And just so interesting.
Well, it's another one of those cases where it's just poof, someone's gone. There's nothing. There's no bag. There's no shoes. There's no phone. There's no jewelry. There's no socks, coats, jeans. They're just gone. And it's, where did they go? How can someone just disappear? And not to get on a full blown rant about Dennis Martin's case, but there's 3 or 4 different people that supposedly said they saw something, or they saw a vehicle parked somewhere that shouldn't have been where it was at, and it's just crazy. It's everything from Bigfoot to, wild people that still inhabited, the mountains, that lived in caves or, way back in the woods, to, supposedly, someone that, grabbed him and ran with him through the woods, got in this vehicle and drove off and, left. So it's just crazy.
Sorry, I got a message from Ponytail asking if Facebook or if YouTube is messing up or what. She's been trying to put a question up, but I haven't seen any questions come up. The only comments I've seen is from Mac, Joanne, Tamara Steer, Cam, and the new one. I haven't seen anything from Ponytail.
I've noticed, because I'm looking at my laptop in front of me. Then below the laptop, I have my phone, and I can watch the number of people that's on with us. And about half the time, it's anywhere from 1 to 3 numbers difference between the people that shows that's watching us, in the audience with us, to what it, there's a difference between the phone and the computer. So I don't know if something's off or it's just way off tonight. You know, what's going on? But well, what about right now? When I'm looking at the screen, Dennis looks very blurry. And we were talking about this before we went on. So, you know, Mac, Joanne, Tamara, you know, does Dennis look blurry right now or does he look clear? Can somebody answer that?
Seeing Ponytail said she left a comment earlier about a missing lady from Linwood in 1961 and then left a comment twice after, and now that comment isn't even there.
Oh, wow. You know, and Dennis, you and I have talked about this, is where in the world, let me say this again. When did the KBI, when did, you know, Leavenworth County, Wyandotte County, Sedgwick County, when did all these counties technically start documenting and recording that people went missing? Because I know if anybody watches David Paulides Missing 411, which I know Tamara does, he'll bring up cases where people, you know, in newspapers were missing in the 1800s, early 1900s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, you know, and evidently this stuff is not 100% documented. So that's really curious. Maybe Ponytail can log out and log back in, and maybe her stuff, maybe there's a connection issue or something. But I'm really curious about that because I've never seen anything. And you would think, because, you know, we have Schultz. We have numerous people missing in the Linwood, Baser, Bonner, Tonganoxie Triangle area. We have quite a few people that have actually gone missing, and a lot of them went missing around after Randy did. But I've never heard of a woman who ever went missing in Linwood before that, because you almost would kind of think if maybe she would have been brought up. I mean, that's interesting. I've never heard nothing about that.
We have had a lady that was brought up that went missing around the time frame of Randy, possibly a little bit before, but we wasn't ever able to find any information, and the person that had said that never shared any more information than that.
Interesting.
We weren't able to find anything to follow up on it with.
Interesting. Tamara wrote, when did the national database start? Did Kansas keep a list before the national database? I have no idea. That would be a Dennis/Dan question. Or Ricky. You know, if Ricky was on with us from Kansas Missing and Unsolved, I mean, maybe Ricky would have that information. She wrote, I think David does newspaper searches for the older cases. I would say he probably does. And Tamara, did you just watch the case that he just did a couple days ago about the guy that went missing in the 80s from the Fukushima area in Japan, and then they actually found his body, and that whole scenario? Was that not crazy if you watched that and listened to that? That was mind-blowing how that whole situation happened when they found that guy's body. Crazy. And I actually reached out to Paulides when he did the situation with Dennis Martin, and I explained to him that, you know, my, you know, stepfather-in-law, father-in-law, that he was on the search team and all that stuff. And I never had a response back out of him, but I did let him know.
So that guy finds some very interesting stuff. David
He does.
Paulides.
He does, and he does awesome work. I think when he did Randy's episode a couple weeks ago, I personally feel he should have spent more time looking into Randy's case before he did his episode. I wish he could have spent more time looking into all the accusations, rumors, and theories, I would have liked to have heard more input from him and his background on if he knew all the different things. I think that would have really been neat to hear because, I'm really fascinated by his work, and it's just when I watch him do his shows, I look at it as kind of like I looked at Dennis. When I first started watching Dennis, I looked at Dennis as the teacher. I would watch you, I would listen to you. Tammy and I would be looking at notes and taking notes and talking about stuff. And, that's when, we reached out to you all. And it's kind of the same way with David Paulides. I just look and listen and observe and, try to learn, because if you don't learn, you can't be trying to be your best and gaining knowledge and having to try to deal with this stuff. So
I would love to be able to just sit down and talk with him on Randy's case. Like you're saying, his background with law enforcement is incredible. And I think him not knowing a lot about the case, I think he would be able to offer a really good insight into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And one thing I've learned about this, there's never enough time in the day. There's really not.
Right.
There's not enough time between work and family, daily life. There's just not enough time. And I always feel like I get so far into something and I'm grasping at anything to grab a hold of. Just like the other day, we had a discussion talking about Randy and something that we had, heard about, and we were brainstorming on it. And it's just like, I'm begging that there's a connection to it, but I can't tell if there's a connection or not. But it sure seems like there could be a connection, and it's just like, I know this sounds stupid, but trying to follow the yellow brick road, and where does it take us?
Sometimes that's the only way you could find out is to follow that trail.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Missy, for that comment. Well, that would be interesting, Cam. It really would be. And if you go to YouTube and you type in RAN, at least every time I do it, it brings up Randy Leach. I mean, there's enough people that search his name that just typing those 3 letters, not only does it bring up Randy, but it just brings up Randy Leach every single time. At least it does on my phone or my laptop.
So I'm going to change the subject for just a minute. This is something I messaged you about earlier. I know we've talked about it in the past, but how many of you guys use Roku for anything? Watch movies, TV, stream on there? Reason I'm asking is I've said it many times before. Muddy Waters Search and Recovery, I had Muddy Waters Hunting and Fishing Adventures, making hunting, fishing equipment and stuff. And with that, I ended up with a Roku channel that I was going to air a hunting and fishing outdoors show on, and then sell airtime to other creators so they could air on Roku as well. When I transitioned from the hunting and fishing to search and recovery, I still had the channel. I haven't published anything on it yet, but I am looking that by the end of this coming spring, Muddy Waters Search and Recovery airing shows over on Roku as well. And then there will be airtime available for, other creators to come in, that sort of thing. But it's kind of want you all's opinion on that. How many of you all use Roku? And what are your thoughts of using Roku as another platform to get these cases out further? And again, it's going to cover the full discussion of the cases. It's going to cover the physical searches, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So just kind of want you guys' opinions and thoughts on that as well. Well, Missy, if you quit disappearing on us, we can get it done. But no, we definitely do need to do that, have that video chat. That's been probably a year plus in the making.
Well, Missy, just get in touch with Dennis, and we try to do it this week one night. And then that's for anybody. If anybody ever wants to talk with us privately, one-on-one with Dennis or me or one of the girls, with all of us privately, Dan, whatever, we all are busy. We just like anybody else, but we try our best. We really do. So, Missy, maybe one night this week we can set something up and, get on and chit chat and, look at everything.
Then Max says, I watch the free channels on Roku, but not any of the paid channels. This one is set up as a free channel, so it's not one that would cost anything. And like Alex was saying, tonight I've got my phone number and Alex's phone number both in the video description. And you could also email us. We all have access to that email address that's there as well. And we can get something set up. But
Tamara wrote, I don't use Roku anymore. Been over 5 years. I've never used Roku. Never. So I know the kids have them. I think the little portable ones that you can hook up to the internet, I guess. Is that how they work? And then you can stream channels and stuff. Is that what we're talking about?
A lot of the smart TVs come with Roku on it. You just click the Roku and make an account on it and stream off of it.
Yeah, I'm at the point right now where I'll be honest, I see no point in having cable anymore. DirecTV or Dish, because you know, I've got numerous smart TVs, and the one that Tammy and I have in the bedrooms, well, I mean, I can watch everything basically I could on regular stuff, and why pay these high, crazy prices? And that's what I told Tammy. I'm like, just let's be done with it. No, I still want to watch this, you know. I'm like, no, let's get rid of it. Yeah.
Missy, would you be available Friday afternoon by any chance? And then also, what time in the afternoon are you most likely available as well?
Let's say I'll be busy, you know, from the crack of dawn till 5 or 6 at night, at least till 4th of July. And then after that, I'm going to be free for any time, you know, as long as I have signal, probably for a good week, because I've got to finish up my other house and get it listed and get it sold. So if it's something that has to be, you know, during the day or the afternoon, I can probably, you know, make it work with Dennis, because I know Dennis is going to have a few days off.
She said anytime on Friday. Yeah, no, I'm available all day, anytime Friday.
Well, how about Thursday night? You reach out to us and we'll get a time nailed down, because I don't have internet signal at my other house. Even just phone signal, internet signal, there's nothing there. So I have to be at the house in the country to have signal to talk. So, but if you just let me know, you know, let Dennis know, let us know, you know, Thursday night, you know, I'll make sure I'm at home, you know, at that time, so I can be on my laptop, my phone. I think Dennis froze up. Dennis, where are you? Is everybody else seeing Dennis frozen? Oh, he's gone. He'll be back. But yeah, Missy, we can definitely go over what you want to discuss, talk about. You know, someone else we recently had a good talk with is Tamara, that's with us right now. You know, we had a great, wonderful time, you know, doing a live call with her, you know, through StreamYard. I think we did it through StreamYard. Or did we do it through Zoom? I don't remember. Maybe it was Zoom. So I think that was the first time I'd ever done Zoom. So, but, yep, he's gone. You have to go put some more quarters in the machine so he can come back on. So, yes, I think it was Zoom, because I have never used Zoom in my life before till that day. I think I joked with Dennis before we went on. I'm like, I've never used Zoom before. Not sure how to use it. Well, he hasn't texted me saying he had a failure of some sort, so he must be trying to fix his issue and come back on. So, but is there anything else anybody would like to discuss? Any other topics, cases, stuff like that? I think Dennis told me earlier today we had 3 other cases. Well, I think he's popping back on here. I'm getting a alert. Let's see. But I think he had said we had 3 new cases come back.